Good afternoon, everyone. It's Crystal. Today is Sunday, November 15th, 2020. I'm here for another Sunday Funday. Today we're featuring the Heartwarming Hugs Suite from Stampin' Up. I hope everyone is having a good Sunday, a nice relaxing day. So far my day is relaxing. Weather's not too bad. And I've had a good day so far. So I have two cards that we're going to do together. And I have two bonus projects I want to share to get everyone ready for Christmas. So this is the August to December 2020 mini catalog. And it's from Stampin' Up. The Heartwarming Hug Suite is on pages 8 and 9. So we are going to work with the designer series paper, the two stamp sets, and I have the two embossing folders. I don't have everything that's in the suite. I actually ordered the dies. I ordered them on Friday. So that's what we're going to do today. It's November, so if you are interested in ordering any of the products that I feature today or any other items from Stampin' Up, I would appreciate your business. You can go to interwovencreationsbycrystal.com/store to learn how to use the current host code. This is the host code for November 2020. F like Frank, H like Harry, 23. Z like zebra, N like Nancy, 7, S like Sam. So first we will start with the designer series paper. So the paper comes 2 sheets in the pack. There are 6 different designs. The 12 different designs is double-sided paper. So these two are the same sheet. We have some. Here are the colors. Let me start with that. Mossy Meadow, Pear Pizzazz, Real Red, and Whisper White. Whenever I start with a particular paper pack, I get my stamp pads out and my designer series paper and my cardstock, and then I start to create. So, like I said, this is the first sheet. Here's the second sheet. We have some Mossy Meadow and some Pear Pizzazz. We have some Real Red stripes here. I have another Christmas design. One side has some gingham on the other side. These two are together. Have some Real Red and Whisper White here. The other side, we have some diagonal stripes, Real Red, Whisper White, and Pear Pizzazz. Right here, we have some Mossy Meadow and some Pear Pizzazz. Some small dots, polka dots. On the other side is another sort of gingham print. We have Real Red, all 4 colors actually. Real Red, Pear Pizzazz, Mossy Meadow, and Whisper White. So that's another sheet. And we have some stripes. And houndstooth on the other side. So that is our final design. So our first card, I used this 1 3/8 inch scallop circle punch with creating this card. I used one of the embossing folders, the wrapped in texture embossing folder from the suite. There are 2 embossing folders in the suite. They are both this size. They're this size so they can go in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the mini machine That machine is not available yet, but this is what this is designed for. And this is just how I store my embossing folders. And I used the Warm Hugs stamp set for the first card. There are 21 stamps in this set. We have some circles here that says for you and for you. This one's on me, Merry Christmas. Warm hugs to you all season long. You are the marshmallows to my cocoa. Some candy canes, some small trees, star, and we have some dots, some X's, heart, little coffee cup, and we have some, I guess that's supposed to be the aroma for the coffee cup. I like you a latte, a swirly design here, so very merry, eat, drink, and be cozy. Happy Christmas, and then another circle design. They're photopolymer stamps, and they come like this in the stamp case. 21 stamps. So here is our card. This is the envelope. This is a standard A2 size envelope. I use the Warm Hugs to You all season long. I stamped the lower left and the flap as I usually do. This card is basic black cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, and is scored at 4 1/4. This is Whisper White cardstock. It's 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And I use this embossing folder to make this design on the white cardstock. That gives the cardstock this texture. This designer series paper is from what I showed you earlier. It's 1 1/8 by 5 1/4. The sentiment is on Whisper White cardstock. It's from the stamp set. I use the punch. This is 1 3/8 scallop circle punch. And I stamped it in real red. And I use my wonderful gems. I use these a lot for my Christmas project for right here, these 2 gems here. On the inside of our card, this is Whisper White cardstock. It's 4 inches by 5 1/4. This designer series paper is 2 inches tall and 5 1/4 inches long. I used the punch. I stuck this in half of the way for the punch so you can get the gift card out. This is a gift card holder. And I also use real red on the inside. You're the marshmallows to my cocoa. So I like this sentiment. This one's on me, Merry Christmas, to let them know that there's a gift card inside. So we will put this together. It's actually a simple project. So I have all my pieces here. Here's my cardstock. I always work on the inside first. I'm gonna have another gift card so I can show you how easy it is to put a gift card inside. So this is for the outside. So the first thing I did, I've already stamped the sentiment, but I took the designer series paper and I measured the middle. There are 9 of these designs across. So the 5th one, this one right here, is the exact middle of the designer series paper. So I take my punch and I unlock it, push this down and unlock it. And then I count over to the 5th one, which is here. And I just place it about halfway in to the circle punch, about there. And I squeeze. So now I have the little thumb hole for the gift card. So this is easy to make a gift card holder. You don't need any special any special dimensions. I just did 2 inches tall because I wanted to make sure that the gift card would be secure. But you could make it a little shorter, you could make it a little taller. It all depends on what your preferences are. So I just take my tape roller and I just need to do the sides. I did 2 on the sides and then 2 on the bottom just to make sure. You don't need to do the top because that's where the gift card is going. So just place it on the bottom. Make sure it's flush in the corner. So you always test it to make sure. I think I put some, yes I did, there we go. So I put a little adhesive on it, got a little adhesive happy, but there is our pocket for our gift card. And then we attach it to our card base. So this is cardstock, so I do all 4 corners, all 4 sides, and then I do a diagonal. And then just place it in here. So the inside is done. So I'll put this back in here to make sure this stays open. There we go. All right. So that's the inside of our card. It is ready. So for the outside of the card, first I attached the DSP to the embossed piece. And since this Whisper White piece is embossed, I usually put a little extra tape on it because it's textured, so it needs to get into the grooves. So just put this. Just make sure I burnish it really well since I have a textured piece of cardstock. And then I attach this embossed piece to my card base. And just do the diagonal. So this is the front of our card, and have it in the middle. There we go. And for this piece right here, I put this on dimensionals. It wouldn't be a project if I didn't use a project that I'm doing that didn't have dimensionals. Probably do just these 2 right here. And this one's on me, Merry Christmas. I put that in the middle of our card. Right here. And then we have our wonderful gems. Use my Take Your Pick tool. And I use small gems on here, but I'm going to use some larger ones on this one that we're doing together. Place one right there. And take your pick. And place one right here. And our card is done. So we can give someone a great gift card to Starbucks so they can get some coffee, they can get some hot cocoa. So that is a quick card. So if you buy a gift card for someone for Christmas, you should put some extra special touch on it and put and make the gift card holder. I'm sure that they will appreciate it. And don't forget to stamp your envelopes. So that is our first project. let me know if you have any questions. So our second project is a gatefold card. That is our second project we're going to do together. And here is our envelope. Let's see. No, Jim. So for this card, I used the Wrapped in Christmas stamp set. It has 10 stamps in here. They are the red rubber stamps. So it says Christmas blessings to you and yours. Then there's a flourish right here. May your days be merry. Surround yourself in the love of the season. A little something for you. So I could have used this on my first card since I had a gift card inside. That was another option. Friends and family are the truest gifts of Christmas. Let the joy of the season fill your heart. Noel, which I used on my envelope here. Peace on earth. It is the most wonderful time of the year. So those 10 stamps come in this stamp set, and I have extras from other projects I've done. So those are what the stamps look like. So this gold twine is from the Wonder of the Season ribbon combo pack. Here's the code. They come together. So this is the twine I used right here. Jingle bells are right here. I think they come 24. 20 or 24 in the pack. There it is. Yes, 24 in the pack. They're cherry cobbler, gold, and this looks like shaded spruce. So 3 colors, probably get 8 of each color. So this is how the card works. This card started off at 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 2 1/8, and then I flipped it and scored it at 2 1/8. For example, this is what it started off as. I did put on my scoreboard, scored it at 2 1/8 here, then I flipped it and scored it at 2 1/8. You could do the math, but it's easier just to flip it. And then these 2 pieces of Designer Series paper are 2 by 5 1/4. This white cardstock is called a belly band. It started off 1 inch high and 9 inches around, whisper white, and I wrapped it around, and it's actually glued together in the front, but I knew this would cover the seam, so the seam is actually in the front, but you can't see it because I used this to cover it. The sentiment is, may your days be merry and bright. The ink is mossy meadow, and then I tied the gold twine around. This sentiment is on dimensionals, and the dimensionals are actually helping to keep the twine in place. I don't know if you can hear my little jingle, but my bell is jingling. So you just slide the belly band off. This is not a card I would send in the mail in this envelope. I would send it as part of a package in a larger, maybe a priority mail, flat rate, because this has some, you would have to pay extra postage for this because of the height and then the weight. So you just slide the belly band off, and then you open up the inside of the card. These 2 panels are 2 by 5 1/4, just like the ones on the front. This whisper white cardstock is 4 by 5 1/4, and the sentiment is let the joy of the season fill your heart. And I used a little flourish here, right here in the corners. And this is like this is a card that you would have to decide you wanted to do. It's called the gatefold card. Once you decided you wanted to do this, you would have to decide that before you started scoring your cardstock. So once you decide what you're going to do and you have the dimensions, it's very easy to put together. So we're going to do that now. So we have our cardstock here. I score everything, but I don't fold things until I'm done, because the cardstock is easier to deal with when it's flat. So I work for, this is the inside, that's our sentiment. And then we have our 2 pieces of designer series paper. So I will do the inside first. And if you decided that you wanted to step this up a little more, you could always make this a gift card holder. I thought about that, but it was just a little too tight for the Starbucks gift card. But if you had another type of insert, if you wanted to fold up some money, you could, and make a pocket like we did for the first card. So there's always a way to, you know, jazz it up a little bit. So my first piece, my first panel, I do all 4 sides. And then I line it up with the bottom of the middle cardstock to just make sure that everything is even on the bottom, because the lengths are the same, 5 1/4 inches tall. My next panel, once again, I make sure that it's lined up with the middle panel. And our inside is done. So now we have our outside. And for this one, I do one, and then I actually do have to close it to make sure that it's even. But that's our last, the last thing we have to adhere. So do the same as I did on the inside. And that's about right. And just to double check, that's when I close it, just to make sure that everything is supposed to be where it's supposed to be. So all right, so I hold that closed. So I need 3 hands for this, but hold that closed just to make sure it's lined up exactly. And there we go. So our card is made. Now for the belly band. This is Whisper White cardstock, 1 inch tall, 9 inches wide. And all I do is hold it here, make sure it's somewhat even, doesn't have to be perfect. And I don't score it, I just fold it around, because it doesn't have to be tight, it just needs to be snug. So just make sure it's not too tight. I can go up and down, and then I just put a little bit, see there's about, that's the overlap. So I just took a pencil and I just marked it, just so I know not to, just a light mark right there, just so I know not to put any adhesive past that mark. It's going to be covered up because of the sentiment, but just so that I don't get too adhesive happy like I did for that first card. So, and there we go. And then I test it by putting it on my card. And you want the seam in the front because the sentiment is going to cover the seam. So there we go. Slides up and down. So the next thing is the gold twine. So this is maybe 16 inches or so. I didn't really measure. Yeah, that's long enough. Let's cut the twine. And then I made a knot. Made one knot. I could have made a bow, but I'm bow challenged, so you're not gonna see a lot of bows in my stuff. So I made a knot, and then I took my jingle bell. This one's gonna be red, the cherry cobbler. And then I put the jingle bell on the twine. And I made another knot. One, and then two, and then I just cut it about an inch or so. So now our sentiment is right here. It's going to go right here in the middle. We're going to put some dimensionals on it, but we're going to put dimensionals on the side so that we can make sure that we tack down the gold twine. And my dimensionals. I lost my dimensionals. I'll have to use many dimensionals. I lost my dimensionals. The table's not that big, but okay. So the dimensionals are going to go on the side. May your days be merry and bright. So I'll just flip it over. I'll just put it here, just across the middle, because I want to make sure that my gold twine stays still. And then one on the top. And one on the bottom. So all right. So just have to make sure. There we go. And that is our card. So just have to make sure you do it in that correct order. Once you do the belly band, the twine needs to go next. The sentiment is last, so that everything is, like, this moves on the side, but it won't come apart because the dimensionals underneath the sentiment are holding everything in place. And this is our envelope. I stamped Noel with Mossy Meadow. And then I flipped it and I stamped it again. But this card probably will not go through the postal service. It will probably go in a larger packet. It's a little bit too thick for, I wouldn't, I think my jingle bells might get broken. So those are our projects. So I wanted to show you, last week I did a project with the mini paper pumpkin box. I shared this project that I did, and this project would be good for, to be a package for some cards, if you made some cards for people, or if you had some candy, or some other kind of small gift that you want to give someone, you can make these come flat from Stampin' Up, and they come 10 in a pack. And the box itself is 5 7/8 by 3 3/4, and it's 1 inch tall. So I decorated the 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, the top, and I decorated this flap that's underneath. And I tied it with some ribbon that was in the Playing with Patterns ribbon combo pack, because this ribbon is Night of Navy. So, and I used a dimensional to adhere this to the box. I showed this last week. The reason I'm showing it again is because I wanted to show you another box that you can make for your friends and family. This is called a mini pizza box. The box itself is 3.5 by 3.5, and it's also 1 inch tall. I decorated it with designer series paper, the designer series paper in the Warm Hug Suite. This square one is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. This sentiment is on Whisper White cardstock. Warm hugs to you all season long. And then I have a pair. This is real red cardstock. It's 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. And my wonderful gems, again, they're going to be a theme. And then each side I did is 3 1/4 inches long, and then 3/4 inches tall. Because this is 1 inch. You could go to 7/8, but I don't mind seeing the white of the box, but you could go to 1/8 of an inch. So that's the front, that's one side, the back, and then that's the last side. And so this time I didn't put the ribbon around it because I wanted to show you what it can hold. These are Hershey Nuggets treats, and I used the designer series paper to wrap around the Hershey Nuggets. There are 6 nuggets in here. The designer series paper is 3 1/4 by 1 inch, and then I just wrap it around and use my adhesive to close it. So this is a nice little gift for someone, maybe someone you work with, someone you see on the train. This is a nice little gift to say, I'm thinking about you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, etc. So, and who doesn't like chocolate, right? Just those people who are allergic to it. But just another thought I wanted to share with just packaging for your gifts. So, and I know some of us, my final project, I know some of us do scrapbooking. I haven't done scrapbooking in a while, but I started off my paper crafting with scrapbooking. So I created this scrapbook page just to give you some ideas of what you can do more than just cards with Stampin' Up products. So my scrapbook page is the designer series paper. It's the full sheet, 12 by 12. This real red stripe is 3 1/4 by 10. And then this Whisper White cardstock is 2 1/4 by 9. And then each of these will hold a 4 by 6 photo. So the Whisper White is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And then the shaded spruce is 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. So you have that small border just for your whatever photo you place here. And the same with this one. The Whisper White is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. The real red is 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. And then I put this snow here, and I made that. I talked about this stamp set in this bundle previously, the Curvy Christmas stamp set. I use this die right here to make my snow. So this is 6 inches long, and so I just put it here just so you can stamp on it, you can write on it, and whatever is going on on the scrapbook page. So you can use Stampin' Up! Products to do more than make cards. You can make 3D projects, you can make scrapbook pages. So just some thoughts, so however you want to keep your memories for the holiday season. So thank you for watching. Once again, if you're interested in any of the products I've mentioned here, I will have them posted at the bottom of the video. If you can go to interwovencreationsbycrystal.com/store to learn how to use the code, the host code for November 2020. Once again, it's F like Frank, H like Harry, 23, Z like Zebra, N like Nancy, 7S. And I would appreciate your business. If you have any questions about Stampin' Up! Products, feel free to contact me. If you are interested in becoming a demonstrator, it's fun to be a demonstrator. You don't have to do videos. You don't have to do workshops. You get a 20% discount the minute you sign up. Your starter kit costs $99, but you can order $125 worth of products. And I would love to have you on my team. My team is called Crystal's Phenomenal Stampers, and we will have a great time shopping and learning and creating. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting.